Hello everyone, I'd like to read an excerpt from one of our classics of traditional Chinese medicine. And I'm sure you might find a certain correlation with what's happening today in the words of this very well educated man. And at the end you will be surprised, I think, to hear how old this particular book is. I don't quite understand, it goes, why practitioners today do not pay more attention to these classical formulas and techniques when treating the elderly, healing the poor, and maintaining their own health. They do little but vie for fame and power and delight themselves with improving their physical appearance while neglecting their spiritual development. If one has no skin, how can there be any hair? During a serious epidemic, victims of the disease become terrified and do not know what to do. Under the present circumstances, they must submit themselves to the care of whatever medical system is available, or submit themselves to divine providence in the hope of prolonging their lives. Alas, it is a foolish world that indulges itself in the acquisition of fame and wealth and regards life so lightly. Is this the true meaning of glory and power? People who compete for superficial success without caring for the essentials, who are indifferent to bodily care and indulge only in material gain. They are as much in danger as though walking on an icy bridge abutting a valley. One who fails to learn how to love both others and oneself is not unlike a homeless, wandering spirit, seeking transitory worldly pleasures. During the first 10 years of the Qian later Han Dynasty, 2/3 of my relatives, approximately 200 people, succumbed to a disease, 7/10 of which died due to this epidemic fever. For this reason, and in consideration of all of those lost and not saved in the past, I decided to seek diligently ancient instructions and try to adopt for use various well-known prescriptions. I then studied all of the classics, all of the herb books, and I have now written this book, which is called Injuries Caused by Cold-Induced Febrile Diseases. Although it does not include all therapies, the book tells of the cause and origin of the majority of diseases. The reader will gain much medical knowledge if he makes a thorough study of my compilation. Now, I'm sure this will have a certain resonance among many people, and this particular book was written by a very famous Chinese medical physician called Zhang Zhongjing in 129 AD. That is just less than 1,900 years ago. So the point is, of course, that these epidemics and this present epidemic, none of which is new. And it's interesting to note that a lot of these classical prescriptions that were found in this particular book called the Shan Hang Lun are still used today. And from what I observed happening in China in the hospitals, these were very similar to the prescriptions prescribed by Zhang Zhongjing. In our College of Chinese Medicine, this is what we study. This is what we aim to study, which is classical traditional Chinese medicine. One of my students was asked the other day, "Oh, what style of Chinese medicine or what style of acupuncture are you doing? Is it 5 elements? Is it 8 differentiations, etc.? And in classical Chinese medicine, all of that is included in the study. So what we do is classical Chinese medicine, and it's not differentiated or separated out saying we do this style or the other style, because all of those styles are incorporated. Zhang Zhongjing, going way back to that time, would not have noted any particular styles at all. What he did was he looked and studied and saw what worked and produced this excellent manual, which was really a method of describing the various stages of illness and the appropriate prescription for that particular stage. And in doing so, that was a huge breakthrough in relation to the study and practice of Chinese medicine. So much so that that book, dating back nearly 2,000 years, is still used today in the study of classical and traditional Chinese medicine. And I thank you for your attention.